But we begin with the first criminal trial of a former president nearing the home stretch after wrapping 3 weeks of testimony. Prosecutors assembled a marathon of witnesses Friday to bolster their case against Donald Trump ahead of what could be the most important testimony we've seen so far. CBS News has learned Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen is expected to be called to the stand Monday. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to cover up alleged hush money payments in advance of the election. And prosecutors say Cohen had direct involvement in those payments. The former president denies any wrongdoing.
Legal expense to a lawyer, they called it legal expense. They said it was marked incorrectly. What else would you call it? It's a legal fee or a legal expense, and we called it a legal expense. This is what the case is about.
Well, nearly 1 month after the trial started, the assistant Manhattan district attorney told the courtroom Friday, quote, "It's entirely possible that we will rest by the end of next week." CBS News campaign reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman is here. She joins us now. Katrina, how would you describe the former president's demeanor in court?
So he was most engaged when the first witness was up on the stand on Friday. That was Madeleine Westerhout, who used to be his White House aide. And whenever there's someone on the stand who he's worked with, who kind of had a fond relationship with him, he seems to really be more riveted by them. And then the rest of the day, he was very engaged with this stack of papers that he had on the table. It appeared to be social media posts or articles, and he was highlighting them. He was reading them carefully, talking to his attorney, because the other witnesses were really more custodial records witnesses, bringing in documents, text messages, phone records, although one also brought in a very important chart, which was the chart that showed all of the falsified records that make these 34 falsification of business records charges. And the jury was actually leaning forward to look at this because it's the first time this has been presented to them. It showed the 11 checks, 11 invoices, and 12 vouchers, and it was numbered 1 through 34. So their prosecution is really laying out this case bit by bit. And, it's the end of week 4 of the trial, and they're just finally seeing these charges in front of them.
So 4 weeks, 3 weeks of testimony.
Yes.
And now as we head into the next week, we're looking at the possibility of Michael Cohen coming to the stand. How important will he be?
Michael Cohen is the most important witness for the prosecution. They know that, and they've been building up to this because he also is their most problematic witness. He has severe credibility issues, also a very contentious relationship with Donald Trump, but he is key to their case because these reimbursement payments that were made allegedly based on the Stormy Daniels payoff were made to Michael Cohen. He also played a key role in the alleged catch and kill scheme, trying to suppress damaging stories about Trump, which is part of their underlying election fraud claim that turns this into a felony. So he is crucial to their case, and they've really been carefully having witnesses come up that have different sides of what we're going to hear from Michael Cohen to bolster his testimony because they know that they have to convince every single person on this jury beyond a reasonable doubt in the end.
And Katrina, you mentioned the acrimonious relationship that Trump and Cohen have. How is the defense likely going to try and counter what we hear from Cohen?
I mean, we've already seen it from Donald Trump so many times. He calls Michael Cohen a serial perjurer, a liar. He even did it one day right outside the courtroom doors to the reporters. So they are absolutely going to try to undermine Cohen's credibility, to also challenge the story that he's telling. Even just today after court, Trump was saying, as we played, that these were, in fact, legal expenses, countering what the prosecution is trying to portray.
All right, Katrina Kaufman, good to have you inside the courtroom and here with us today. Thanks.
Thank you, Lana.